Take 30 seconds. Let's take 30 seconds and act like God has given us everything we prayed for New Year's Eve, for our New Year's Eve. Now let's give it up for this wonderful choir and complete staff and the legacy of Dillard. Come on, y'all can be louder than that. Thank you guys for making me a part of this weekend, a part of your family. I'm so excited. I had the opportunity to hang out with the kids on yesterday, and so they're going to sing on my first song, and then we're going to let them come down and get in the audience, and we'll finish the concert. So let's get right into it. It's called Dew in the Morning. You sing along. Y'all give it up to the choir as they leave the stage. They have been awesome all day. just for the Weather Channel, your evening forecast. Sunny and cool this weekend. Partly cloudy in the evenings. Forecast good weather in your life. Who agrees with that? Come on. It's time for some good weather. Somebody say, COVID be gone.
COVID be gone.
Say it loud, say, COVID be gone. just think about 2 or 3 things over the last year. Even though it might have been tough for you, think of 3 things that God did do for you. And just rest in that praise. Might we even want to tell the person next to you what God did for you. And let's give God praise for what did happen. Because guess what? We're still here. Come on now. We're still here. Come on, give God a praise. He kept you alive. You got the use of your hands. Come on, tap your toes. You got the use of your toes. Come on, nod your head like that. Oh yeah. Who can still wave? Who can still sing through it all? Let's take that praise up to another level. We're still here. Let's give God praise that we're still here. Hi guys, so much. Thank you so much for the invitation. The foundation, the staff, the principal, Dr. Charles, Sister Davis. I mean, everybody that has been involved with this whole process. Sister Denise, who we became best friends, talking 2 or 3 times a day as we brought this process together. I am so honored to be with you guys, and I always look for an excuse to come back to Florida because I'm from Daytona Beach. And I'm blessed to be a pilot that owns his own aircraft, so I'm always itching to fly. So y'all gave me an excuse to fly my airplane. Thank you very much. So proud of the students. They did a great job. I was kind of jealous because I was going around with my phone and recording the different performing arts areas of the school, and people were reading music and playing, and they were playing classical, and then when they went to the commercial side and they were producing, and man, we didn't have none of that type opportunity when I was coming up. In fact, I came up right over there in Daytona, then we moved to Stark, Florida, and then we moved to Chattahoochee, Florida. My parents were migrant farmers, so they just followed the crops, and we kind of bounced around the whole state. I know you guys don't know anything about this in Fort Lauderdale, but I came up in the millennium of government cheese. Welfare peanut butter. Now, I ain't talking about Choosy Mom's Choose Jif. I'm talking about a silver can with black writing. They ain't got but 2 words on it. Peanut. Wait, y'all. When you open it with a can opener. And you couldn't just make the sandwich because they had oil on the top. You had to stir up the gift. Come on, y'all. So I came up in a very, very poor environment. We love God, church folks, but we just didn't have anything. In fact, my parents came up, it was pre-prosperity thinking. So they thought the poorer we were, the closer we were to God. So therefore, I was raised in God's lap. My dad used to walk around with food stamps on a money clip. Come on, somebody. But I thank God for my humble beginnings. We had rats and roaches, and had a big rat in the kitchen. And I remember one time I saw this big rat in the kitchen, y'all. And so I'm gonna try to scare the rat off. So I came in, I saw the rat, and I went. And the rat looked at me and went. It was tough. I came up in the old school. I'm not old, but I'm old school. And I was standing outside by my CD table with my son Benji, who's kind of floating around here. And I was kind of checking y'all out when y'all came in. I ain't the only one in here that graduated from the old school. Now, old school, I know you're quiet because you think I'm talking about age, and people get offended by age. Old school ain't got nothing to do with age.
Right.
Old school is about what you remember. You old school. If you remember the end of this sentence, I brought you into this world. That makes you old school. Let's finish this old school altar call. You old school, you can finish this paragraph. As long as you living and you eating, you gonna do. Come on, y'all old school. You old school if you have ever had a fried bologna sandwich. Where the brothers at? Brothers, make some noise. It's kind of dark. Okay. Now this is I'm gonna bring you out of your closet, brothers. You old school brothers. If you used to think Velma from Good Times was fine, go on and admit it. Ladies, you old school if you thought JJ was ugly. I'm a smooth jazz artist, you know, and I came up in a poor environment, and God saved me, and I went to school on a basketball scholarship, 6'6" by the time I was in the 6th grade. And so I was a tuba player in the band, All-American, second chair, All-State, first chair, All-American McDonald's band, had 30 scholarship offers for tuba, 35 scholarship offers for basketball. Now, tuba is what I really loved. Basketball, I just played it because I was tall and everybody kept saying, you got to play ball. So I get ready to pick where I'm going to go to college, y'all. And I asked my dad, and I said, Dad, I want to take this tuba scholarship. What do you think about which scholarship should I take for college? He goes, son, follow your heart. But before you do, let me ask you something. How many people going to call you in the studio to cut some tuba tracks on their album? You might need to play ball. I went to my mom. I was a mother's boy. I know she was going to agree with me on the music. I said, Mom, what do you think I should do? She said, son, you black, you tall, we poor, play ball. So I took my parents' advice and followed their heart, not my heart. I followed their heart, and I went to play basketball, dropped out of college a year early, just a year in, and went to play pro, went to Canada, and then invited to the Portland Trail Blazers. Man, if I can just get through camp, I'm gonna be coming off the bench behind Clyde the Glide Drexler. I would be that guy on the bench, believing God that Clyde gets hurt. But it didn't work out like that. I got hurt. I got injured even before the season started. Didn't make it out of camp. So they released me from the team because of that injury. And that is where my testimony began, because I was hungry, y'all. Didn't have no rent money. The artificial flowers were dying. Gas was off, heat was off. Came home, big old spider laying up in my bed in the dark, legs crossed, smoking a cigarette, talking about, you ain't got no messages. I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I decided to go to church. I didn't go to church because I loved God. I went to church because this Pentecostal church was running a 2-week revival service, and I knew they had chicken dinners after church that was free. And I went to get a chicken sandwich and messed around and got saved. What about? Come outside, I want to see you. He ain't coming on a Honda. Stop it. And I got saved, so the minister prayed for my hands and prayed, and he put oil on my hands and put oil on my head. My head didn't need no oil. I had a Jerry curl. But he parted the bangs and still put some oil on my head. And y'all don't understand, back in the 80s, I had one of those soul glows. I could do that right there, and everybody within 20 feet would get anointed with oil. But he anointed my head with oil and told me to sit down to the piano. And I had never played piano. I had played tuba and basketball. And he told me to sit down to the piano, and this is what came out. Dang, that's kind of tight. I didn't even know that was inside me. It's a mysterious combination of gospel and jazz, and it was inside me the whole time, but I was chasing a basketball, young folks. I was chasing another dream, but God had a plan that was still going to be music and keep me traveling, but I thought it was going to be basketball, so I decided to give this gift back to God. And so I'm sitting before you 30 years later, 15 gold records, 6 platinum albums, and still can't read music. 14 Stellar Awards, just inducted into the Stellar Award Hall of Fame. 8 Dove Awards, just got nominated again for an Image Award for Best Jazz Artist, Soul Train Award. Oh my goodness, God has been faithful. Poor as a kid, but live in a mansion in Tennessee and have vacation homes in Detroit, Destin, and Atlanta. I think it's real cool for somebody that used to be homeless to have homes in 4 states and love God. Wonderful wife, 5 children, 7 grandchildren, and just got my first great grand, and I know I still look 30. And you get to hear the music that God gave me to usher you in to your next level. Because just like when David played, there was an evil spirit on the king. And when he played, those evil spirits left off the king. God gave me that gift. And when I play, whatever's been bothering you, whatever's been holding you back, whatever's been coming against you and your family, I declare those forces have to leave, and the rest of your life is the best of your life. COVID still came, but we still here. Come on, give God a praise for that. So thankful for the talent that God has given these young kids. The minute God saved me and anointed me to play, that all the awards came, all of the accolades and the schedule. Artists dream about being on the road 100 times a year like I am in front of great audiences like you all. They dream of that. And so I'd like to say that as soon as I gave my life to God, as soon as He anointed me to play, all that came, but it didn't. There was a wilderness experience that I had to go through between the NBA and music. Nobody wanted to hire me. The churches said that I played too jazzy. And the jazz club said I sounded too gospel. So at the beginning of my career, and this idea about forming a new art form called gospel jazz, nobody cared but me and God. Have you ever had a good idea and nobody got with you on it? That's what happened to me. And so I had to get a job that I didn't like. I said, I'll take anything legal to keep food on the table. So I moved back from Portland, moved back from Alabama, moved back to Florida, came to Tallahassee, Florida. I wasn't gonna go back to my hometown or where I graduated from high school, Chattahoochee. There was just nothing there except a state hospital. And I said, let me go back to Tallahassee. So I took whatever, I went down to the place to apply for the city of Tallahassee, and the only thing that was available was dog catcher. So I took a job as a dog catcher. Yes, world-renowned Ben Tankard did used to be a dog catcher. For 5 years, a dog catcher with a jerry curl. And I wasn't even, Mr. Superintendent, I wasn't even a good dog catcher. I'm supposed to catch 12 dogs. They gave me a badge called Animal Patrol Officer. So that makes me a dog police, right? So I'm supposed to patrol around Tallahassee, Florida, and I'm required to bring 12 dogs back to the dog pound at the end of my shift. I get off at 5 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I got to use my faith. I ain't got but 4 dogs in the truck. I gotta believe God, y'all, because somebody about to get their dog stolen. I started to believe God for puppies, litter. Lord, give me 12 at a time or something. And but this is my big break. Here I am, I got my dog catching uniform on. I go into Main Street Music, which was a music store there in Tallahassee. And I don't have the money to buy the piano, but I'm on my lunch break. And I wanted to go in and just tinker on their pianos and organs. I didn't have the money to buy it, but it don't cost anything to test drive. So never be afraid to test drive. Tell that to your neighbor, say, never be afraid to test drive or walk through a parade of homes. You can go take advantage of the free stuff just to get your mind out there. So I'm in there, long story short, and I'm playing on the piano. And people started gathering around, customers started gathering around me as I played. And so this rich white lady comes up to the store owner and says, hey, I'll buy the piano that the dog catcher is playing. $65,000. The store owner came over and said, can you keep playing? And this happened over and over. So one day he said, Tank, I love it when you come in and play the piano because every time you play, somebody in the store buys something. I don't even think they're really buying the keyboard. I think they're buying the dog catcher's sound. There's something on you, man. Why are you catching dogs anyway? And I said, well, that's what was available. He said, how much do you get paid to catch dogs? This is back in the late 80s. I said, I'm getting $980 a month as a dog catcher 3. Now, a dog catcher 2, you got $1 more an hour, but you had to have 20 dogs at the end of the day. That was too much price. So I'm getting $980 a month. He said, well, how much would I need to pay you for you to just quit catching dogs and you just come in and play the piano for me 8 hours out the day? I'm like, are you kidding? $979.99. So he hired me on the spot to become a keyboard demonstrator. I didn't even go back to the dog pound to quit. I called him on the phone. I said, this Tank, I quit. I'm gonna mail you your uniform. You might wanna come get your dog truck. It's outside and it got 4 puppies in it. And that was my first music job. After then, I was able to use my employee discount to buy equipment, get my own home studio going, just like the kids are working in the commercial department. I had my own equipment, begin to make my own beats, and pretty soon I was able to make my own first recording in my garage. A company from Nashville heard about me, moved me from Tallahassee to Nashville, made me the president of a new black division of a white company, gave me $1 million budget and said, go discover some new gospel artists and make them great. And my first discovery, the first person I discovered and produced was Yolanda Adams. And the rest is history. I'm here to tell you, we serve a great God. And it's next for you. Tell your neighbor, say, it's coming next for you. Great.